I've been traveling to quite a few places now since last 20 years, especially in Kashmir. There are numerous beautiful and memorable moments from all those trips, but some stand out distinctly. While we were on our way to Warwan, we arrived in a breathtakingly beautiful village named Inshan. We decided to stay overnight in this village and decide the future course of our trip from there. As this place is not a touristic place, there aren't any hotels or even a homestay available. We inquired of any possibilities of accommodation with local people and got to know that there is a government accommodation belonging to State Fisheries Department. There is a slight chance that it might have an empty room. So we went to the place, but we were told that the officer of the department is on a visit, hence it is preoccupied. But we were given the address of a dark bungalow, which can rent us a room. Although we had carried our camping gear with us, we were keen to sort it out before it gets dark. Our journey up until now had been beautiful but long and bumpy. We really needed to get out of the car and get a nice night's sleep. We turned around our car and set out towards the dark bungalow, which was across the river Chenab, 5 kilometers away. We had to ask people along the way for the directions, and the very first person we asked turned out to be a gem of a person. While giving us directions, he began to ask about our whereabouts. He invited us to rather stay with him in his house, which is extremely generous coming from a complete stranger. We thanked him for his generosity, but moved ahead towards dark bungalow. We finally arrived at the dark bungalow, but we were told to look for its caretaker, presumably at some shop. So we turned around and head towards the shop. Arriving at shop, before we could find the caretaker, we were once again greeted by this bright smiling guy who had invited us earlier. This time he was on his Enfield motorcycle, accompanied by his friend. They insisted again with their warm invitation to host us.
Was it the plan?
Bro, I don't mind. If you,
Will try to learn about the culture.
yeah, it is. If you feel comfortable enough, why not?
A complete set of strangers opening their hearts to other complete strangers. This act of genuine humanity reaffirmed my belief in humanity and kindness. It does still exist. This genuine warmth convinced us to accept their invitation. It was a surprise indeed, in fact a very pleasant one.
Those guys riding the bike in front of our car have invited us to stay with them.
So we sat back inside our car and followed the motorcycle to their house.
This is going to be our homestay for tonight. These guys have been generous enough to invite us into their home.
We spent a beautiful evening full of joy and laughter. 5 dishes of chicken were cooked for us. Hospitality at display was of a caliber that I hadn't witnessed up until then. It is a feeling that may not be expressed in words, but can just be felt. I could see the beautiful sense of joy on their faces, and we were overwhelmed by their act of compassion. Events do happen in the course of journey,
but sometimes they turn into some rare and prolific experiences that enrich our souls. And while time passes by, we gather these beautiful stories to tell.